là les gars, ça y est, il est avec nous, hein, il est à Dunnville au Canada. C'est Monsieur Rob Lamothe, le chanteur de Riverdogs. Et là, on est avec une légende. Hi Rob, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Markus.
Yes, it's an honor, and we are very proud to have you in the show, you know.
I'm very proud to be on the show.
So, Rob, I just a little words before beginning. A couple of years, you know, I went to Dunnville. At your home, there was no one, nobody. You flew to LA. So, was to stop this album, you know, and 3 years later, we are talking about California. So, explain us the process of the album.
This all came about when Frontiers, a label in Milan, Italy, asked Vivian Campbell, our guitar player, if the rest of the band would be interested in making an album. And we discussed it for about 10 seconds, and as a band we decided yes, we would love to make an album.
Great.
So that's kind of how it came about. It was that simple.
Wow, great. And all those songs that we can find on the album, are they outtake songs from scratch?
They're all songs from scratch. Yeah, we wrote all new songs for this project. We wrote 12 songs. So there's 11 songs on the U.S. Europe version of the record, and there's a 12th song on the Japanese version of the record. But yeah, we wrote and recorded 12 songs, all brand new songs, and we actually just started in April of 2016. So it all came about very quickly. We had time to get together, and the four of us met up in Los Angeles. I live in Ontario, Canada.
Yeah, no.
And the bass player. Well, right, you were outside my house that time.
Yeah.
The bass player, Nick, who also produced our record, he lives in Nashville, so we went and flew to Los Angeles, and we wrote and recorded a record. It took us about 4 or 5 trips, but yeah it's pretty simple, really.
I guess that's the first song you write together was anything the last of the album, no? The first you write.
I don't know anything. Is that?
I don't know anything.
Yeah, that was probably one of the first ones. I mean, it was a bit of a blur because we wrote 6 songs in 3 days on the first trip, and then we wrote 6 songs on the first 3 days of the second trip.
Yeah.
That were about a month apart. So it was really a matter of getting the 4 of us into. We rented a little house to work in. And we just drank coffee and we ate Mexican food every day for lunch. And because we were in Los Angeles, you can get amazing Mexican food there.
Yeah.
And we just played together as friends, and we just stood there and said, well, what shall we do? And then somebody would start playing an idea or just jamming, and then someone would go, hey, what was that? That was cool. And then we would jump on that idea and run with it.
And where does your inspiration come from?
You know, musically, it comes from whatever kind of turns us on as a band, whatever we all four, if something was played and we all liked it, then we went, okay, let's pursue this musically. And lyrically, as far as the words, all 12 songs are very much inspired by me walking through Hollywood again after many years.
Yeah.
Because I left Los Angeles 22 years ago or something, or 23 years ago. So to walk back through Hollywood and the places that I used to spend all my time, and I took my daughter with me on my first songwriting trip, and then my oldest son went on the second trip with me. And they are my daughter's 20 and my oldest son is 29. So they came back to California with me, and then my youngest son, who's 25, he came on the trip just recently in May when we filmed the music video for American Dream. So it was very much just me kind of walking and driving and, you know, getting food late at night with my kids and, you know, them asking me questions about my life in California. It was really pretty magical.
Like, good memories, no?
Great memories.
Great memories.
Yeah.
And Rob, I got a question. When you're writing a song, what's coming the first? Some picture, some words. How's the process when you're writing a song?
You know, it's all different for me. It happens a lot of different ways. I teach songwriting. I run a songwriting camp.
I know that.
You knew that? Oh.
Yeah.
So I've been doing that for, I think, 13 or 14 years now. This will be my 14th year, I think. But, you know, I'm always learning from young songwriters as well, because they're 12 years old to 18. And, of course, I work with a lot of, you know, older songwriters as well. But there's just no one way to do it that works best, is what I found. It just depends on where you are, how you feel, what you're thinking about, what you need to do.
Yeah.
You know, so writing with Riverdogs, it was music first. It was always music first. We were just looking for music that, as I said, really turned us on, really made us feel good. And if it stood that test of it just felt good to play it, then we could pursue it, and I could start thinking about, well, what words kind of fit to this? And sometimes we would just be jamming, and we had a sound system set up so we could play, you know, rock out at any point. And because that's the way we wrote it, was cranked up loud. And I would just sing maybe whatever came to my mind, and then sometimes even a line like "I don't know anything" on the last song of the record, a line like that might just come to me as I'm just rocking out. And then I say, oh, okay, well, let me pursue that a little bit, you know, so then I might kind of follow that line of thinking a little bit.
Cool. Rob, when you're meeting together with the other boys, Viv, Nick, and Mark Danzen, as we said, Danzen.
Mark Danzen.
Danzen, okay.
Yes.
It's still a magical moment, I guess.
Yes, I mean, the first day that we got together last April to actually write, you know, you stand in a circle and you kind of look at each other.
Yeah.
And we hadn't written any songs for, you know, 5 years, and you think, now we have to write 12 songs. We have to write a record.
Yeah.
Maybe we have to write 20 songs to pick 12 songs. We didn't know. So you have that moment where you're just not sure what's going to happen, but then we all have that confidence as friends. You know, we've made music together for so many years, for over 20 years. And we've always stayed friends, and we've always played music and gotten together for a beer or a coffee or a meal over the years. So, oops, that's sorry, I just hit my guitar. So, you know, we had that confidence that we'd be able to do it. It's just that we hadn't done it for a while, and we didn't know how we were going to do it. Were we going to take the ideas that I brought in, or the ideas that Viv brought in, or the ideas that Mark or Nick brought in? And mostly what we did, almost the entire record, is the stuff that we wrote on the spot in the room together that came, you know, that was inspired in that moment. It wasn't songs that we brought in. There were a couple that were brought in, but 10 out of 12 of them were created on the spot.
Okay, Rob. So, Rob, can we have a chance to see you perform this album in Europe, especially in France, maybe?
You know, we didn't talk about that while we were making the record. We wanted to not talk about performing live, because a lot of people have asked us about that over the last years. The last time we played live with the four of us, I think it was 2011 or something, if I remember right. And so we just thought, let's just not talk about it. Well, let's just write and record. But now, in the last couple weeks, now we've had some serious questions that have come our way, and people saying, would you be interested in playing? And Europe would probably be the first place we'd want to go, because we've never played in Europe with Viv.
Good choice, Rob. Good choice.
And the label's in Italy, and you are in France, so it only makes sense.
Okay, so promise me that when you come in Europe, we are meeting together in the real.
Absolutely, it's a promise.
Okay. So, Rob, a few words about the video clip. you know, the acoustic. We talk at first about the acoustic video clips. I got a question. How is Stewart, the dog? Is it yours?
Stuart, the star of the show, you mean? Stuart is Vivian's dog.
Okay.
It's a little Chihuahua, and we have 3 Chihuahuas here at our house. They're the little Mexican dogs, and one of our dogs only has 3 legs. His name's Kiko. He's very funny, but yeah, Stuart is good. Just so you know, Stuart is good. And those acoustic videos, we actually we were getting together the day before we filmed the American Dream rock video out in the desert and on the mountain, and we were getting together the day before, and we thought, well, let's create a little bit of content that we can share with people before the record comes out. And you know, it's very casual. We didn't rehearse the songs. We played them maybe once, just as you saw in those videos. We're just sitting around at a recording studio. So we just kind of played the songs once, and then we just played. We just went for it, and we hadn't really figured out how we're going to play these songs acoustically, these electric rock songs. But we just did it, and we thought it was just a nice thing to share with you know, family and friends and listeners. So yeah, very, very casual. We actually have a couple more that we're going to release just in the next couple of weeks.
Ah, cool.
We have an acoustic video for American Dream, which really sounds great. And then we have a couple of older songs from the first Riverdogs record. So we'll be releasing those acoustic videos as well.
Which song from the first Riverdogs album?
I think we did Big House and Whisper, if I remember. Big House and Whisper.
Okay, classic songs, big songs too. Okay. So,
yes, classic songs.
Rob, we gonna talk about the early moments of Riverdogs. I got a question. Who did really form the band? The first moment of Riverdogs. It was.
Who was in it then?
Yeah. Who formed the band?
Well, the band was actually formed by a couple of guys who aren't in the band anymore. When we joined, it had been created by a guitar player and a singer in Los Angeles, and they were looking for a bass player. They were firing the singer. They asked me to join, but they were also looking for a bass player. So I encouraged Nick to audition because the band had great management, and they had Vivian Campbell was going to produce their demo.
Yeah.
So I thought, oh, this is a cool opportunity. So Nick and I joined on bass and vocals, and there was a drummer and a guitar player. The drummer was replaced by our producer for the first record. So he left the band. When he got replaced on the record, he didn't want to be in the band anymore. Fair enough. And that's how we ended up looking for a drummer, and we got Mark, which was awesome. And Vivian was producing our demos, and at one point, you know, at rehearsals, he started picking up the guitar and playing along with us, and then he started singing harmonies with us.
Yes, great voice.
And, you know, he became kind of part of the band sometimes, and then one night he said, hey, I want to talk to you about joining your band, and he was about to go do pre-production for the next Whitesnake record after Still of the Night. Was it Still Night? Sorry, Slip of the Tongue. And a couple weeks later, he joined our band.
And after we know the music business, blah 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 blah, CBS, and it was crappy. So I got a question, Rob. Which artist did you recently discover in the rock music, rock songs? The new artist makes you really interesting his songs.
You know what? There's a band from Hamilton, Ontario, which is about 50 minutes from where I am. I live on Lake Erie, and there's a band in Hamilton, Ontario, which is on Lake Ontario. They're called Monster Truck. They're fantastic. There's a young band, some of my former rock campers actually. They're called Courage My Love. They're on the Warped tour this year. I think they're about 23 years old now.
Yeah.
They're amazing. But you know who I also love is that band Vintage Trouble.
Yeah, I know them.
Yeah.
Huge.
Killer singer, and just a great kind of retro, music vibe. I love Rival Sons. There's some good singers out there. There's some good rock singers out there. So it's a good time for rock, I think.
You're in the classic rock, and we like that. We like that. So, Rob, what's your favorite songs in Riverdogs? The most beautiful that you love, that you love to perform every time, and just one.
One. All the songs are so personal, right? They're all very personal. So I'm connected to probably to all of them. But if I had to pick one, oh boy, it might be Best Day of My Life from the CD we did called World Gone Mad. We did that in 2010 or 11. That came out. That might be my favorite. I just love the sound of it. It's in a strange kind of D minor tuning, and it's another song about going back to California, because I went back to California to make that record as well. And I was on the train from Los Angeles down to San Diego, and it goes right along the coast, the Pacific Ocean there, and I could see my father's house from the tracks where my father had lived and where he had died, and going back to the places where I went to high school and where I was born. It was a pretty amazing trip. So that song, and it has a lot of little stories in it from my life. So that song might be my favorite, maybe Best Day of My Life.
Okay. This is the best days of my life. I know this song, and I love very much this song too.
Markus, you have a nice voice.
Yeah, really, I know that. So, Rob, another question. What kind of advice give you to the young songwriter during your summer camp?
You know what I do? I have some words that I share with them to start off, and the words are create without fear and edit without mercy. So it's all about not editing themselves or censoring themselves between their brain and their hand, with a pen in their hand or a guitar in their hand. I really encourage them that there should be no rules. Let's not worry about whether the lines we're working on rhyme, or whether the music makes any sense or sounds like a song they've heard before. I really do try to get them to create or write without fear. And I tell them they don't have to share any of their words with me or any of their musical ideas. We do a lot of creative writing exercises where I ask them, weird questions to try and get their minds going in the morning. We go for a walk, and then I say, what is the sun trying to tell you right now? What is it trying to tell you about your life? And they go, well, the sun couldn't ask me a question. I say, yeah, but what if the sun could ask you a question? Let's just think in a new way. And once I start asking them those strange questions, and once they start to trust me that I'm not going to make them share their work with the other campers, and I've got 20 kids at a time, when they start to trust me, then it starts to come out of them, because they're still young, and they can still believe that it's okay to create freely, and then they just start doing it. And the last probably 4 years, I have 2 different camps, one that happens the last week of August, and then one the first week of September. And every summer now, my kids, those 20 kids, well, there's 40 between the 2 camps, they end up writing and recording 70 songs altogether between those 2 groups. And they're just so courageous and so ready to create, Some hesitate a little. It might take them a day or so, but then they get in the groove and they just start going. And it's amazing. It's not, all I didn't do is I just stand back and let them do their thing. And if they need a little support, then I might go in and help them a little bit. But once they get going, man, they are just fearless writers. It's wonderful.
Okay. I really understand. Maybe I will come to this summer camp one day.
Sure, Markus, why not? How old are you? Are you 17, 18?
Oh, more than. I'm more into 40, you know.
But I think for a Muppet, they might make an exception.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Rob, another question. If you not were a songwriter, which kind of job will you dream when you were young?
You know, when I was young, I just wanted to be a surfer. I grew up on the Pacific Ocean, and the hospital I was born in was maybe 100 meters from the ocean. And I lived close to the ocean my entire young life. And I just wanted to be a surfer, maybe just, buy a little bit of property in Mexico for a couple $1,000s and maybe drive a trailer down there and park it down there and just live there.
Yeah.
I knew people that did that. They just, picked fruit off of trees, and that's how they survived. But music happened in the meantime, so I didn't, I did that for fun. I did a lot of surfing, went down to Mexico a lot of times for that, but music came along when I was, in a professional way. When I was 19, I was asked to join a band or audition for a band, and I never thought about being a professional musician, but then I just followed that. I just went with it. But about 9 years ago, I started volunteering at a youth center here in our small town, and I was teaching martial arts and music, and eventually they offered me a paid position there, and then eventually I ended up being the program manager at the youth center, and that led to an amazing job that I did for 5 years. I worked with homeless people for 5 years. I ran a program for 2 counties, 2 large counties out here near Lake Erie. And I became a frontline crisis worker. And of course, all the travel I did and the sometimes unstable income and unstable life that I had when I was a young musician, and all the survival skills, all those things really helped me to understand someone that was maybe coming out of prison or coming out of a mental health crisis bed. And I got a lot of training then and a lot of different things to do a good job, but I really enjoyed being a frontline crisis worker and doing that kind of social work. And I still am involved in a lot of that. I just don't do it as a job now, but I still do a lot of community work, and I'm part of some really wonderful community initiatives here in my area. I got to do both my dream jobs. Really.
Yeah.
I got to be a professional musician. I still get to. I got to be paid to do wonderful social work, and I got to surf my brains out as a kid growing up in San Diego, California.
Yeah, amazing place.
Yeah.
Rob, your name, your last name sounds like French. I got a question. Do you got some origins in our country?
My father, there's some French in his family. His father was French. They were in Canada, actually. They had come from France, and they ended up in Canada. And at some point, they wouldn't pledge allegiance to the English Queen, so they were kicked out of Canada, and they ended up in New Orleans, Louisiana, down in the States. And there's a lot of Lamoths down there. There's vineyards, and there's what else is down there? I don't know. I haven't been there, but I know there's a lot of my relatives down there. So yes, it is French, but I don't know a word of French.
You don't know a word of French? So
no, I really don't.
Can you just repeat after me? Okay, are you ready?
Sure, I'll trust. Yes.
Je m'appelle Robert Lamothe.
That was pretty good, wasn't it?
Je m'appelle Rob Lamothe.
Je m'appelle Rob Lamothe.
My name is Rob Lamothe. Okay.
I speak French.
So, welcome in France, Rob. You have to return. You have to return.
Thank you so much.
So, I got a little personal question. As a good father you are, what do you cooking during the winter to your family? Are you a cooker? And tell us about your best recipe.
You know what? I like to cook, actually, and my wife does as well, and my daughter does, and my younger son likes to cook. So there's 4 out of 5 of us that really like to cook. My daughter and my wife and I, we're all vegans, so we have a plant-based diet. We don't eat any eggs or cheese, no dairy products, no meats of any kind. But we love that because you're inspired to be creative because we don't want to eat boring things. So we experiment a lot with, grains and seeds and vegetables, like really interesting vegetables and different sauces that we might make. Some of my friends, actually in just a little while, in 20 minutes, I have to head over to our local nonprofit organic farm where I'm on the core committee that kind of helps make some decisions at the farm. And but I volunteer there as well, so I'm going to pick up my little godchildren over at the farm, and I'll probably pick up some fresh, amazing, interesting vegetables as well. Things like kohlrabi, which is it's kind of like a turnip, but it's sweeter and spicier, and different kinds of kale and interesting vegetables, not the usual things, right? So
Okay.
yeah,
That's the reason you look so young,
it probably helps
Yeah.
because I'll be 59 in August, but
No, you're kidding me. You're kidding me. No. Repeat, please. 50, 55. No.
50. I'll be 59 in August.
Oh,
But yeah, I ride my bike over to the farm, and then I work with a wheel hoe, which is some
yeah.
pretty good exercise, and I do that. I did that on Sunday. Somebody was sick over at the farm, so I went out and just did some wheel hoeing, plowing the fields for about 3 hours. It's really good exercise, and and then I leave there with some nice fresh scapes and garlic and kale, and yeah.
So you guys from Riverdogs are very simple, amazing players. We respect your work. Years after years. From the first album to your solo career. With Romeo Barber's Shop, Strongest Mess in the World. All those songs we like, and now this big gift is California for us, and we are very happy to listen again the classic rock songs, with soul, with wow, what a blast, what a blast, Rob. So my last question is, you got a guitar, so
Yep.
are you okay to perform some music, for the French audience and for the Fernando Rock Show?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
What can I play you? One of my songs?
What do you want, Rob? You're her guest. Do what you want.
I'm in a little bit of a strange position here, but I'll try. I'll play a song. Maybe I'll play a song called "The Good Things." Is that okay?
Okay.
Okay. I can't remember what record it's on. It's on one of my records. Should I play the whole thing for you? Is that all right?
No. Just we have the mood of the song, and we listen to your beautiful voice. Go.
Okay.
Hey.
37 days at sea. I think I am a snowflake. I will leave these words just in case my old bones wash up on some black shore and I'll miss your birthday. So you will recognize me and you will see yourself and you will know my heart. I am writing down the good things, every wounded heart and bloody ring. behind the brave words and the smoke screens. I am hoping that you'll know it's me. Where is my compass? Where are my shipmates? Where is my sailing hand? There is no badly drawn map. There is no turning back. There is no sign of land. And would I recognize it if I was stranded on it? Would I know your heart? So I am writing down the good thing, every wounded heart and bloody ring, behind the brave words and the smoke screens. I am hoping that you know it's me. And if you find these pages in the sugar cane, leave my body at the waterline for the tide to take away. Yeah, my heart is not there anyway. Anyway. I am writing down the good things, every wounded heart and bloody rain, behind the brave words and the smoke screens. I am hoping that yeah, I am hoping that you'll know it's me.
Yeah. Beautiful song. Thank you, Rob. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Markus.
Oh, yeah. So, Rob, it's now, we are nearly time to leave, you know. And there's a tradition in the show, is that we are screaming together rock and roll. Okay?
I like it already.
Okay, so before leaving, Rob, I got a gift for you. You can see it, but we got some buttons for you of the show, and we got a t-shirt for you.
Amazing.
We got a t-shirt, so you are about medium, no? I guess medium.
Medium is right, yes.
Okay, so medium t-shirt, sticker, buttons. For your kindness, you know, we were absolutely under the charm, under your spell when you're singing, you know, it's wow. We are far away, so.
Thank you.
So just before leaving, just a few words about this album for the European fans, for the French fans. Last words for California. What can you say about this album to resume the situation?
I can say that this album, we accomplished what we set out to do. We wanted to make a record that that we were proud of, and that we thought that people that loved our music in the past, we really felt like we made a record that they will love. So we feel really strongly that we've done that, and we're really happy to share it with people.
Okay, thank you. So congrats, guys. Congrats to Viv, to Nick, to Mark. Congrats to you. We are very happy again. So the tradition is screaming rock and roll. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1, rockin'.
Sounds good.
Rock and roll, Rob. Rock and roll, rock and roll, rock and roll. So see you later. I hope to see you in France. Yeah, rock and roll, like you scream. See you in France, Rob. Thank you.
Thank you, Markus.
And see you next time in Europe, guy.
Sounds great.
Okay. Bye-bye. See you later.
Yeah.
Have a nice day, Rob. Bye-bye.
That was awesome, man. Thank you so much.